Welcome back to the Sunday Supplement. Very good morning to you. Thank you for your tweets, by the way. A couple of tasters here. Andy Carroll for England, you're having a laugh. And the worst England team since Graham Taylor. We have no chance at the Euros. Thanks for that. We'll be coming to England a little bit later on. Let's go back to the top of the Premier League, Steve. 2 points now. Obviously, United play today at home to Villa, where the gap goes back to 5 if they win. Now, Mancini, interesting. No, it's definitely over. Twice this week he said it. United will win the title. Does he really believe that? Mind games? Or is he trying to convince himself?
No, I certainly think he believes that the title's back on. I think...
does he believe that?
I think he does, yeah, absolutely. Of course he does, yeah, he's a pro. I mean, he won't give up until it's absolutely impossible for City to win it. I think, you know, he will be trying to sort of push the pressure onto United a little bit, saying, no, it's yours to win. And, you know, we saw what happened at Wigan with United. 8 points clear. They kind of just didn't turn up, did they? You know, and that's really dangerous. I'm sure there will be another twist in the tail somewhere, but I can't see it happening against Villa today. I think United will restore that 5-point lead. But then they've got to go to the Etihad, and they've got a very, very tricky, 2 tricky games. One against Everton, at Old Trafford, and the final game of the season at Sunderland. Those are both potentially dangerous matches for United, particularly if the gap with City is down to something like 3-4 points.
What's happened to City in a week, Matt, that we all watched them at the Emirates last Sunday when they were pretty poor, and then suddenly they've got 6 points, 10 goals in 2 matches, and almost looked like the side that started the season?
I think it's 2 things. I think one, I think Mancini's thrown caution to the wind a little bit. I thought he was far too cautious at Arsenal last week. Really played, because he played Balotelli wide, he really just played Aguero on his own. I think Aguero has looked a bit tired on his own, and didn't bring Tevez on until about the 83rd minute, which I thought was too late when they needed to win that game. And I also think probably, and this might seem a bit harsh on City, but I think they were struggling a bit with the pressure. So when they went to Arsenal, they absolutely had to win. They didn't deliver. Go 8 points down. Pressure off. It's gone. You know.
With the manager saying it's over.
And suddenly, bang! 2. You know, exactly right. Sort of running right. Scoring lots of goals again. Full of confidence. But Tevez and Aguero working really well. They looked brilliant yesterday, and so I think it's a bit of that. And I think Steve's right. I thought Norwich was a huge game, because I thought that would be a difficult place to go, and they just tore them to pieces. I now think the title will be decided in the North East, because you've got that last game of the season for United at Sunderland, but before that, City have got to go to Newcastle. So I think that's where it's going to come. That's where the crunch could come.
Plus the Manchester derby at
and the Manchester derby, which, you know, if City win it...
well, they have to win it, don't they?
Yeah, if City win it, then I think that's where it comes down to, those 2 games.
I think the best thing that's happened to them is Balotelli's suspension, because I think he's had to use Tevez. Tevez has got a point to prove, whether he feels he's in the shop window, or maybe there's somewhere in Tevez's slightly sort of exotic mind, there's an element of contrition, and he feels he owes Mancini, and particularly the fans, something. I don't know about that. Or maybe he just wants to go out there, because the great thing about Tevez, when he gets on the pitch, he gives everything.
Yeah.
He takes up these fantastic positions, he scores goals, he's passed yesterday the back heel to Aguero. He is a fabulous footballer when he is totally focused, and he was terrific yesterday, so he's had to come in. I think there have been other elements. Aguero went off the boil for a little bit, but clearly he's been sparked by Tevez. You can see the sort of, you know, the friendship as well as the footballing partnership there. David Silva, who's had a dip, he was fantastic in the first half of the season, but then he's had his dip. He's sort of come back in, and he's a force as well. So I just think that, I agree, I think Mancini's let the handbrake off, but I think Balotelli not being there, I think he's just said, right, I'm going to unleash these 4 sort of nimble, small players and just go for teams. I think there are other elements there, and he never gets any praise, and I know it's unfashionable because we all remember what Ozil did to Gareth Barry and Bloemfontein, but I think Barry's been really important in there, just sort of knitting that midfield together. I think Yaya Toure, when he came back from the Africa Cup of Nations, he was poor, but I think he showed yesterday he was coming a little bit back to form. And having Vincent Kompany, who's been one of the best centre-halves, you know, in the Premier League over the last 24 months, having him back in there after he was out has been key as well. But I just think that Balotelli thing has just changed the dynamic. I think they're far more fluid and they're less fractious, because with Balotelli it was all about the opposition you're going to get stirred up by, like his disgraceful challenge on Alex Song, which he could have got sent off for. So maybe that red card's a blessing in disguise.
What would you do? What would you do with Balotelli? And remember, it's only 9:30 in the morning on Sunday.
In terms of what other things could happen to him during the day today.
But if you're City,
Sell him.
do you keep him? Do you get rid? Sell him.
I think he's embarrassing. I don't think he is as good as. Oh, I'm sure someone in Italy would have him AC Milan. He's worn AC Milan shirt before on chat shows. I think he's worn, obviously he's worn Inter Milan's shirt. I think he'll go back there. I think he's let the manager down. I don't think he is as good enough a player. He's not an Aguero. He's certainly not a Van Persie to be able, for other players in the dressing room to be able to tolerate that sort of behaviour.
I can't see Mancini selling him, personally.
Why?
I just can't. I think,
he's become a bit of a liability.
Without a doubt, he is, Henry.
3 red cards this season.
Absolutely he is.
But don't the other players want Mancini to sell him?
I suspect they might do. They probably certainly don't want him to be played at this point in the season, because I think that the focus is always on Balotelli and not on the team.
Mancini's a pragmatist. If he feels that Balotelli has any long-term use, he may well keep him.
Well, we've seen that with Tevez.
Exactly. But that's a short-term use. I'm sure Tevez will leave in the summer.
Yeah, listen, any manager will do more or less whatever he thinks is going to get him a win.
Yeah.
OK, you might say Alex Ferguson would never have brought Tevez back after what he did in Munich, and there may be some mileage in that. But I think for Mancini, in Mancini's position of having to win big with Manchester City for the first time in the Premier League, I think he will do almost anything. And if that means playing Balotelli in the last game of the season to get him a goal or a point or whatever he needs, he'd do it.
Sure, but we're talking about next season. If you had the choice next season between your star centre-forward, leaving Aguero out of it for the moment, your star centre-forward being Balotelli, or the possibility of getting someone like Cavani in, who's not going to give you the issues that Balotelli gives you.
I don't agree with it, but I think he will stick with Balotelli, because Tevez is going to go, isn't he? Tevez will go, regardless of what's happening in the minute. Tevez will go. So, Dzeko, we know Dzeko is not really kind of top draw. No, so then he's down to Aguero.
Yeah. So they'll be changed again. Do you think Tevez is laughing inside at City at Mancini?
No, I don't.
He'll never play for this club again, was the message. Now he could win them the title.
I don't think he's laughing at them. I think he's probably relieved that he's back. I thought the goal celebration, the hat-trick celebration was quite funny yesterday.
Well, the golf swinging.
The golf swing. But I don't think he's laughing. I can't imagine he's patched it up with Mancini in any way, shape or form. And I think he will be looking to leave. But he's got to find someone that will pay the kind of money that that they would want. And
it's a marriage of convenience at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think the whole thing is symptomatic of Balotelli, Dzeko, all these players. I think it's symptomatic of a club that has just tried to do it overnight, and that's not a criticism of City. But I think, we look at other teams that have come and won the title. When Mourinho got to Chelsea, there was the spine of the team there, and he wasn't starting from scratch.
Yeah, I
think they've completely started from scratch, and I think you're going to get problems.
There will,
but
there won't be any contrition, I don't think, with Carlos Tevez in this situation. He'll think, I scored you a hat-trick yesterday, I scored against West Brom, this is why I should have been playing, and this is why I deserve to be treated.
Yeah,
in the way I want to be.
It was a good move by Mancini to bring him back, because if Mancini had said, right, I'm going to stick to what I said in the emotional aftermath of what happened in Munich, when I think everyone was on his side and thought that Tevez had behaved, despicably, but then actually, what he wants to do, he's a pragmatist. He wants to go and win this title, and I actually think this has been a really good week for Mancini, and it's taken a lot of heat out of the situation, because there was beginning to build a little bit of speculation about Mancini's future, and now everyone can see, actually, when they play like they did yesterday, going to Carrow Road and playing against Norwich with Paul Lambert, he's got them playing really well. They're
Spurs as well.
Won deservedly at Spurs, so that is a good win. And the other thing that he's turned around this week is the goal difference.
Yes, of course. 10 goals in 2 games. Yeah, no, exactly.
So I think that what this has done is that this has reminded everyone that Mancini is a good manager. He can produce good football. He can produce winning football. And if the title doesn't come this season, and I think most sane people expect it to go to Manchester United,
You think it will?
next season because he's built. Yeah, I think.
You think they'll hold them off?
Yeah. Because Manchester United, I was at Wigan, and Manchester United very rarely lose back-to-back.
No.
And Ferguson's team talk, I thought he handled it very well afterwards. He took all the heat on himself, but his team talk will be, don't forget Wigan, don't forget all those fans who sort of trooped there and saw you play so poorly like that, and now go and take it out on Aston Villa.
And City are coming back at you and everything.
Absolutely.
He also took Wayne Rooney off in that game, didn't he? Which I think is a major statement whenever United are not playing well.
They were flat, weren't they,
take your
at
best
Wigan
player
United? Do you think United at Wigan this week thought, well, we won the title and turned up with that attitude?
No, I'm not sure about that. I think United were always going to have a slip-up somewhere. They were never going to win all the remaining 6 matches.
And
playing great football.
Can we give a little bit of credit to Wigan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Martinez got his tactics spot on,
Absolutely
3-4-3, flooded the midfield. Manchester United couldn't move.
They couldn't get the
missed
ball.
goals
They couldn't get
as
the
well,
ball, Henry.
which was another.
They also did something like apparently Martinez has been to the last 3 games, and they also did even down to. I was talking to someone from United the day after the game, and they were making the point that even when it came to every time United are throwing, they put 2 men on Ferdinand and Evans, so they couldn't do the normal thing of just throwing to the centre halves and playing from the back the way they like to do. So Martinez came up with quite a good system there, and United just weren't on it enough to actually combat that and overcome the obstacles that that Wigan suddenly provided. I thought a lot of credit had to go to Martinez for that
Oh,
performance.
definitely. Are we going to get another stat in the title race, or are you sticking with United just to hold them off?
I think you know, if they go back to 5 points clear this afternoon,
Which you would expect them to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because Villa are, you know, they've only got 35 points. Villa are not having a good season. They could get sucked into relegation yet, but I expect them to be 5 points clear tonight with what was that, 4 games to go, 5 games to go. So
yes,
you've got to back United, but that game at the Etihad, you know,
it's becoming bigger and bigger.
You can see Tevez scoring that night.
United would have to lose 2 matches and City win everything, and as Matt said before, they've got to go to Newcastle, which won't be particularly easy, I wouldn't guess.
No, but I suppose if they're on a roll and United have dropped points...
City's other games are absolutely winnable. You know, I think they play Wolves last day of the season.
Sunderland have faded, though. I mean, everyone talks about that being
just
a difficult
running out of
game
legs,
for
aren't
Manchester. They're running out of. I mean, they've been revived magnificently by Martin O'Neill, but I mean, they've showed in the last couple of games that they're fading a little bit.
And he'll be thinking, 2 or 3 new faces in the summer, build again and go again next season, you know, and build on what he achieved. But no, I agree with you. Drawing. Well, they lost heavily at Everton, and they drew at home to Wolves yesterday as well.
I mean, no Martin O'Neill team will roll over, but you just think that Manchester United, if they need to win or get a point on that last day, they will do.
OK, let's go to a break. Football has been dominated, hasn't it, recently,